What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another live stream here of the Fitz Take Podcast. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you can always call me Fitz. He's your guy, Elijah Nixon, aka E Money, aka Eli, aka the Pride of Connecticut, aka the Pride of South Carolina, and all of those good things and such. Thank you so much to you guys for getting us to 150 subscribers here on YouTube. We truly appreciate all of the efforts that you guys have given to us in those regards. I do want to say that we have set up our podcast to where it is on Spotify. You can now go and listen to it on Spotify. We're working to see if we can get it on Apple Podcast as well, so you could be able to get that and listen to it just as much as you watch it on YouTube. So you guys can go ahead and try that out, and also follow me and Elijah on our social media pages. Also follow my production company, One Way Productions, and everything, so you can be in touch with all that what we're doing and what we have in the moment. So yeah, man, Elijah, it's been a jam-packed week already with the NBA starting and trade news and all that stuff like that, man. So like, what do you make of how this week has been so far?
It's been good, man. I mean, other than my Knicks getting stomped through yesterday, I mean, Boston made 29 threes. They couldn't miss a shot until they was trying to get the record, which they couldn't get 30. But it was like, everything Boston threw up yesterday went down. Crazy thing about it, the Knicks shot 60% from the field and still lost by like 30. It was bad, but I'm happy to see basketball starting off, and it's that cross season period that we always talk about, football and basketball. Baseball still is wrapping up now, but it's that crossover season, so it's just going to get busier and busier from here for a couple months to come.
Yeah, man. Super busy thing with everything going on. I'm trying to see if we could go live on Facebook too. I forgot to set that up, so y'all bear with me for a second. But it has been a bunch of different moves that have taken place. So many different things that have gone on. I think we are live there too. Yep, I'm live on Facebook now. Our Facebook viewers, if you're just joining us now, thank you for tuning in to a live edition of the Fitz Take Podcast. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe to us. I will put that down in the chat in just a second. We've got a jam-packed show with everything that we're talking about. The first thing off top, let's roll right into it. Saints running back Alvin Kamara has inked a 2-year, $24.5 million extension to remain with the team through 2026. This is on the heels of the trade rumor coming out from somebody randomly. I don't even know who brother was, but rumors coming out that Kamara had requested a trade and that he wanted to leave New Orleans. Kamara came out and said that was a lie. He went ahead and got those claims out the window. So that was a good thing to prove that he really cares about New Orleans and wants to stay. And then he puts pen to paper to get the deal done to remain in New Orleans and potentially be able to end his career with the black and gold. Elijah, for you, just how vital was this to not only for them to get the deal done, but also to be able to step in and get it at such a time for him? And what does that kind of say about Kamara's character to stick with this team?
I think that's what he needed. I think Kamara, to me, is the life of the offense, and I think that's what he wanted to do, is stay the whole time. Now, was it shocking? Kind of, only because I know in the beginning of the offseason he sold his house, or his house was up for sale, and told the media members you can just all chip in to live there. But other than that, I didn't think he was staying. The trade request I thought was real. He immediately shot that down. But I'm happy that he got his money because Alvin Kamara has been one of those premier backs for years. Some people say he lost a step. Some people say he still looked the same. I think he still looked the same. I think that Alvin staying in New Orleans means a lot to this offense, especially as Derek Carr gets healthy and Spencer Rattler finds his footing, and Chris Olave can try to work his way back in there. But other than that, man, I think this is perfect for Alvin. I didn't see Alvin going anywhere but in New Orleans. And I think that he he fits the mold perfectly, especially for the premier back that he is.
Yeah, you got that right, man. I mean, it's so many things that you look at. Um, I've always heard people say, like, if you love New Orleans first, it will always love you back. And Kamara has definitely been one of those guys. Um, that stands out. You know, you think about Drew Brees coming there to the city of New Orleans and what he did for that franchise. You look at a guy like Demario Davis. Even you can look at Jameis Winston in his past couple of years of being there. Alvin Kamara is another one of those guys that when you think about the New Orleans Saints, his name comes up just for what he's been able to do on the field, how he stands out, how he's embraced that community, how he's loved on them. It to me, it also is, you know, extremely wild. It makes sense, but it's also wild that we're talking about this guy potentially finishing his career pretty soon. And I think he hasn't even broke 30 yet. I think he's either like 28 or 29. Uh, so to even like be in that conversation just tells you how short of a shelf life it is for running backs in the NFL, especially for somebody like him that gets as many touches as he does. Um, but yeah, I think it was super important for them to go ahead and get that deal done. I think some of the stuff that he did early on, as far as like putting his house up for sale there in the offseason, it made a whole lot of sense because it's like, all right, you know, if I need to leave, I can just leave. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about trying to sell the house once I'm in the free agency market. So he was just kind of getting his business in order and making sure everything was good in those regards. But as I've seen a lot of people say, and as I can, you know, truly feel and sense from him, Alvin Kamara has wanted to stay in New Orleans for his entire career. And now it very much looks like he will get the opportunity to do that. I think that this deal was $22 million in guaranteed money. With that, you know, I think that's about 12 and a half or close to $12 million that he's going to be able to get out of all of this per year in that extension. And it just goes to show, like he mentioned in the press conference, I was listening to it earlier. Um, you know, he could have tested the waters in the free agency, but for him, it just didn't make sense to even go and do that. It was a whole lot better for him to be able to just stay in New Orleans. And so very, very good for the Saints to be able to keep their main guy. For you, though, like now that you know that you have this guy through 2026, what other things will the Saints need to do to ensure that, because he's also playing with a broken hand. He revealed that too on the back half of his press conference. What things do the Saints need to do to make sure that he can remain healthy, that he can stay upright, and, you know, as he continues to get older, he can be able to be healthy and give them his absolute best every time he's playing?
They gotta invest into the offensive line. Um, the offensive line is what gonna make Alvin Kamara go. The left tackle, the guard, you know, these guys, they're gonna push for Alvin Kamara, and you know, even with Derek Carr or whoever's back there on the center in the future, if it's Derek or if it's Spencer, or if they go into the draft and grab somebody else. But for them, they got to get an offensive line and protect their investment, because they just put another investment out there with Alvin. I think that I think with Alvin, I think what he should realize now, though, at the same time, that they need another two back system. I mean, I know he got his money, but nowadays some people could run their running back into the ground as playoffs begins. I know this it's a 17 game season now, and if you want to make a deeper run, it could turn into a 19, 20 game season. So I think with that being said, they need to. I don't want to say draft a successor because they just paid him, but they got to draft somebody who can take the load, and the offense doesn't change when he's not on the field, because the days of him getting paid well deserved, but the days of him getting 20 carries, you know, a game, um, is going to lessen now. So, you know, with the offensive line and drafting somebody who has a similar style to keep this offense alive and keep it going, you know, and it's nothing wrong with splitting carries. It doesn't say who's better than who. Look at Detroit. Detroit has Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery splitting the carries. You know what I mean? So it's like with that, when you have two backs and the offense doesn't change and it's not a power back and a scat back, you have two guys that's a similar style. You can still run the same plays, the same scheme, the play action, or a running back screen, or whatever you want to do. So with Alvin, Again, I'm happy he got paid, but for the Saints, I still say go offensive line and then go grab somebody that I don't want to say a successor, but that can complement him very well when he's not on the field.
I agree with you. They definitely do need to start looking at a long-term plan. I mean, Jamal Williams has been there for 2 seasons now, and he's kind of been the complimentary back. I know you got Kendre Miller there in the mix, but he hasn't really been able to stay healthy. Jamal Williams in his time at Detroit was kind of like your touchdown guy. You get him there, and he scored a lot of touchdowns for you in this sorts, but it really hasn't been that for him in New Orleans. If the Saints, the trajectory of their season continues to go this way, I think they have the number 5 overall pick as of now. So if you continue to have this type of season, you're going to have a top 5 pick. I think that depending on how the, mock drafts turn out to be, I think they need to go and get Ashton Jeedy at Boise State. I think they need to give him a serious look. Maybe not a top 5 pick like the way the Cowboys did with Ezekiel Elliott some years back, but if he is available near the bottom of that draft or in the second round, I think you got to give him a look. I think you go with the offensive line. You build up there in the draft first because you'll be able to, go a lot cheaper, getting a good tackle, getting a good guard, because, I think you're solidified at center with Eric McCoy, and I think you're pretty good at guard with Cesar Ruiz. I think you need to get a tackle, figure out truly if Trevor Penning is the guy that you want long term, and get those things set in order. Ryan Ramczyk, I know, was supposed to be big for them, but he hasn't been back since his injuries and things like that. So you need to get a lot younger, and you need to build that up around him. Because as much as he is the focal point of this offense, like you said, he's getting older, and you don't want to wear him down to the point where these nagging injuries become big injuries, and he, just won't be as impressive and won't be able to be as explosive as what he's been for you in the past, man, because he has been special, no doubt about it. And I think that as long as he continues to stay healthy, Kamara just had some news. Brewery offer to Kamara. Oh, okay. I did see somebody say that. It was a dude that was on Twitter. He was saying something like, I want to give Kamara a year supply or a lifetime supply of beer or something like that. And I guess Kamara responded to him. Bleacher Report just pushed it out. I didn't know what that was at first. I thought we was finna break some news on here, y'all. I didn't know what was going on. He said, a Beta beer? I'm about to give Alvin Kamara a lifetime supply of beer right now. Loyal King. Kamara said, do you need my address? How do we do this? That's real. That's real. I feel you, bro. So Kamara gets his deal done. He stays with the Saints through 2026, almost solidifying his career to be a New Orleans Saint full-time in his entire career. The Saints will try to pick up the pieces as they are 2-5 on the year. They travel out to play against the Chargers, who are 3-3. They will play them on Sunday in the 3:00 slot. That's a first for the season. They'll play in the 3:00 slot. That game will be on Fox, so you can check that one out. As the Saints try to get things in order for their season. Let's go ahead and move forward. In more NFL news, the Kansas City Chiefs put together a huge deal. They make a trade with the Titans, and the Chiefs give up a 5th rounder, and the deal is now finalized where DeAndre Hopkins, D-Hop, one of the better receivers of our generation, is now in Kansas City. A huge move, especially after Rashee Rice has been ruled out indefinitely with, I think it was an MCL tear. So you needed a guy that can get it done for you. We talked about a while back of how the Chiefs are still figuring out ways to just win games and continue to remain undefeated. But getting a one receiver like this helps a lot. Elijah, for you, what's your take on the Chiefs making that move, and how much will D-Hop be able to help these guys go and get that 3-peat?
Um, I think it's a big move. It's a better move than what we talked about with Devontae Adams going to the Jets, because the Chiefs are just simply better. But I
Mhm.
feel like, with Andy Reid, he's going to be creative, getting DeAndre Hopkins the football. Um, but again, the thing to me with the Chiefs is their run game. I think what we don't talk about the last 2 years of the Super Bowl run, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelsey is Travis Kelsey. But I think what made them go besides their defense is their run game with Isaiah Pacheco. Um, I think this helps out, but I hope that this doesn't go back into that air raid where he just drops back and throw the ball 30 times because he has a dominant receiver on the outside. I think DeAndre Hopkins, we see numbers that, we was used to seeing when he was with Houston. Um, and I hope that they get the ball to him like that. But I just hope it doesn't get a greedy air raid offense because Kansas City has the defense to win the game. And what we don't talk about is they're underrated of them running the ball. I know Isaiah Pacheco's out right now, but at the same time, running the ball was key for Kansas City in the last two Super Bowls. Think about it. Their primary target uh, before this, all of this was Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey. And then it was just Travis Kelsey because if you could name the other receivers, like, I mean, we know them, but were they household names like a Tyreek Hill? No. And the reason why they were winning is because the defense and the run game, picked it up a little bit. So again, I just hope they don't get greedy because I know he's going to want to use his new weapon a lot, and that's cool for Patrick Mahomes and probably get him MVP numbers. But if the goal is to win the Super Bowl, just play within your means, run the football, and don't get too happy of air raid. So I think Kansas City made the right move, but it's just how you coach it all up. And I believe in Andy, but I hope it stays like making sure it's a well balanced offense.
I think as much as D Hop is, big as a signing, it's still gonna take a minute for them to get it going. Like some people think that free agency signings are just like Madden, where you just get the player in there, you just plug him right in, he can go out and catch for 200 yards receiving. Like nah, like we saw Sunday, Buffalo Bills trade for Amari Cooper, and Keon was kind of having to be like, "Hey, bro, this your route." Like he know the plays, but he had to like confirm, like, "Yes, you have this route." Like he's gonna D Hop is gonna have to come in there. He's gonna have to unlearn all of the Titans terminology and have to relearn all of Kansas City's terminology. Now, what you can do is you can put him in situations where it's like run a slant, run a curl, run a go. Like you can do that, but and as far as putting him in and just integrating him fully into your offense, that's going to take a little bit of time. What it does, however, is it addresses an immediate need for what they absolutely needed, which was another pass catcher. Like you said, like it is going to be tough to not want to get greedy and just get him a bunch of touches because he is the receiver that he is, and he still has a lot left in the tank, which is why you went and traded for him. But it's going to take some time. And I think Andy Reid, like you said, is a very smart coach. He's going to figure out ways to get D Hop his touches. He's going to figure out ways to integrate him into that offense to where, if Rashee Rice decides to come back when Isaiah Pacheco gets healthy, that this offense is going to be firing on all cylinders. And right now in the AFC, them and the Ravens are your two best teams for sure. So if you're talking about towards the end of the year to be clicking, D Hop to be clicking, Rashee Rice potentially being back from injury, and Isaiah Pacheco, you talking about a pretty dangerous Kansas City Chiefs team because that defense is going to continue to be what it is, a championship caliber defense. That's no questions asked. But it's everything else around it to make it all work. And Patrick Mahomes is that guy, and he's going to be able to get it done in so many different ways. But it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen immediately. But I do believe that this was a great signing for them. And, also what it does is it, makes Jerry Jones look even more crazy. I have to bring that up because in that long rant that he had with those radio hosts the other day, he was like, where are you going to get somebody? And Amari Cooper was available, and Devontae Adams was available, and DeAndre Hopkins was available. Mahomes is killing me in fantasy right now. Yes, Spencer. I mean, he's not necessarily doing well in fantasy, but he winning
But he
football
will
games,
be
man.
back with DeAndre Hopkins. He'll get you some
He
points
will.
with DeAndre. As long as he don't
He's-
get too greedy, he will get you some points with DeAndre. Trust me.
He's gonna do that. He's gonna, because Travis Kelce is killing me right now. I mean, I know, brother, you're getting old, but my goodness, like his production is just way down. But yeah, like you have all these receivers available. They all move around in the trade deadline. Cooper Kupp is still available out there. So this just shows like the Chiefs are really all about winning. They are about getting that three-peat. Like they are not just saying it. They are actions speak louder than words. And with their actions, they are proving we are trying to go and win another championship. Yes, we are depleted in injury. We have the cap space to make something work. Here's the picks that you need. Let us get D-Hop. And they make it happen. That's what a championship caliber team does. So DeAndre Hopkins is now a Kansas City Chief, and he is in the mix with the two-time defending Super Bowl champions. We will get a chance to see him for the first time as they will take on the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday in the 3:25 kick on CBS, as the Chiefs are the only remaining team that is undefeated in the NFL at 6-0, entering really a trap game into their division against the Raiders. The Raiders have pretty much every or nothing to lose at this point, so the Chiefs will have to be on high alert to try to come out on top in that ball game. Also in the NFL, Monday night we saw Chris Godwin, which God bless him, man. He has been through a lot. A Saints division rival, but you never want to see somebody go down with injury. Dislocating his ankle there in the back half of Tampa Bay's loss with the Baltimore Ravens, in which it was about 30 seconds left in the game. The Bucs were down 10. Essentially, it would have took a lot of things to happen for them to be able to win the ball game, and he gets hurt. In the post-game press conference, Todd Bowles was questioned about it with reporters, and I have the video here. Let's see if I can get it pulled up. We can share it with you guys on the screen, so we can be able to hear what was said to him and how he answered that question, which I feel like, in my opinion, was what needed to be said for sure. So let's see if we can get it up.
Doesn't look good. Coach, you're down 10. You don't have any timeouts. It's under a minute. You would need a score, an onside kick, another score. Why is Chris Godwin in the game?
Well, he's a player. We're trying to win the ball game. I mean, we were still down 10. We're trying to get extra points and kick another onside kick. It just happened. But Mike going down, we didn't have that many receivers left as it was, so we play what we got.
Isn't that even more, perhaps, important to preserve Chris for the Falcons if Mike's possibly not going to play?
Well, you can say that because he got hurt. We don't second guess. We got our guys. We're playing everybody we got. It's unfortunate he got hurt. We feel bad about that, but he's a football player and he wanted to be in the game just like Baker and everybody else wanted to be in the game.
Do you have an obligation to protect your players from themselves?
I do protect my players all the time. That has nothing to do with why we left them in the ball game. We still had a shot to score some points and win the ball game. It happened. It happens in football.
What are the early indications on Mike? Todd?
He's got a hamstring right now. We'll see how bad.
The same one that nursing?
Yeah.
Be significantly more serious.
We'll see. I don't know yet. I got to get all the details.
Have you ever been part of a game like this where you've lost two position players that have meant so much to this team, to a team?
I mean, I'm sure I have. I just haven't really thought about
it. So much going on in that moment. Elijah, take off. How do you feel about this? Was Todd Bowles right, wrong, this whole situation?
I think he was right. I'll be honest with you. Not even going to sugarcoat it. At the end of the day, football, you do get hurt. It's unfortunate. You seen Brandon Ayuk tear his ACL. You see Rashee Rice tear his ACL with Patrick Mahomes, his own teammate going into him. These guys want to compete. At the end of the day, you're competing. And like he said, he was down 10 with, it was under a minute with no timeouts. He kicks like this. He kicks a field goal, they recover onside kick, and then score a Hail Mary, and either tie things up or if they win or go for 2 and then just walk out of there with a win. I mean, we've seen things happen before. Like, I'm not saying that the possibility to win the game was high for Tampa Bay, but we've seen things happen. We've seen leads blow. We've seen NFL guys act like, they didn't know what they were doing out there and mess up coverages and mess up stuff, things like that. So it's not like we've never seen that before. But it's unfortunate, like Todd Bowles said. You compete to the last minute, the last breath that you have there. And, it's unfortunate that Chris Godwin got hurt. Chris Godwin has been injury, his injury history is catching up to him. But at the same time, man, it's like he just said, Baker and them, they wanted to keep going. Now, if they were down 20 points, 15, 18 points, whatever, well, I'm saying 20 points, 2 scores. If they're down, not 2 scores, 2 touchdowns, I should say, 14 points, I think that, yeah, you pull them. But you're down 10 and you're moving the football. Yeah, you got a chance to go for a quick field goal to try to get the ball back and try to score. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, like I said, like he said, football people get hurt. It's unfortunate. They do it every year. I just think that, some people are going to take this and go overboard because he got hurt, like he just said. But at the end of the day, man, the name of the game is you go there to win. You go there to compete, and you go there to try to win. And if you're not giving your best chance to compete, then I don't think that, you want to be a part of that team or be on that team if you're not trying to compete to win the ball game.
Yeah, man. I've been a part of those moments where you see guys doing all they can to make sure that, they can compete for their team, that they can be in the mix, they can help to contribute, and things just happen. Football is a 100% chance you will have an injury at some point. I don't care if it's a rolled ankle. I don't care if it's a sprained ankle, a high ankle sprain, a tear in the knee, a broken arm. Something will happen because it is a collision sport. Every single play, somebody is running at you 1,000 miles an hour and are trying to move you against your will. It is guaranteed that you will get hurt at some point. These are the unfortunate parts that we see about the game. But what is abundantly clear is that these guys put their bodies on the line. And heck, we can go as far as saying their lives on the line after the DeMar Hamlin situation. These guys are putting their lives on the line because it's for the sport that they've loved so much that has helped to change their lives. Many of these guys, football was their only way out from bad situations at home, better situations from their families, being able to provide, becoming the matriarch, the patriarch for their families, and making sure that people around them are taken care of. We see Tua coming back after suffering another concussion and him being asked, should he wear a Guardian cap? And he said no, saying that, he loves this game to death. Like, this is what these guys are working for. There's so much that they go through on a week-to-week basis to make sure that they can be able to be ready on Sundays, Thursdays, Mondays, all the days of the week that they play. They got meetings, they're practicing, they're lifting weights, they're training, they're recovering, they're doing all these things, they're being away from their family, traveling across the world, all to go out and play for the best 50 to 60 snaps on a different game day. It is unfortunate, but to say that Todd Bowles was in the wrong here is not the right image of this. It was not that he was wrong at all, because you play to win the game. Yeah, you're down 10. You play until the very, very end. Now, if you're down 30, Chris Godwin need to be in the game. Like when the Bucks were beating the Saints a couple of weeks ago in the Dome, and they went up 2-3 scores, all them boys came out of there because you don't want them to get hurt in a game that you've already lost. But if you're still competing as a competitor, he would have gotten questioned a lot more had he taken all his starters out.
Exactly.
Guarantee you that. they would have been asking way more questions of why did you take him out? And to my media members, I'm not calling out any of these reporters and stuff, but we got to figure out ways to stop asking the same question over and over again in different ways. Because if he'd have blown up in there and, cussed out the reporter, I really don't think he'd have been in a lot of the wrong. Like, it might have not have been the right way to present that message. But it's like, bro, these dudes compete. They come out here and work hard, and we play to win the game. After I'd have said that one time, I don't chew my food twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to say this over and over again to you after I've already said it before. So as bad as it looks and as terrible as that injury is, I do also want to commend ESPN for not showing the injury a second time, because we've seen so many gruesome injuries that they just replay it over and over again. As I was watching it live, I remember hearing Troy, I think it was either Troy Aikman or no, it was Joe Buck. And he said, I've heard from the truck that we're not going to show that play again. It's like we're moving in the right direction. All right. Because we don't need to be seeing all these gruesome injuries. Because, bro, I remember, God, what was brother's name from Louisville years ago? Kevin Ware. That was the worst I've ever seen before in my life. Worst ever. And they kept showing it. Like, bro, what are we doing? Take this off. This is horrible. Hey,
he had it bad. Remember when Gordon Hayward, the first game against
oh yeah, that one too.
Was that Cleveland?
I can't remember who they were playing. Then I remember Paul George. When they were was it Team USA he was playing on?
Team USA, yeah.
And he hit his leg on that padding. I remember I was at my homeboy's house and we was in the other room, and another one of my homeboys, he was a hooper, and he was in the living room. He was like, "Oh my God, he's done." I was like, "What happened?" And he was in there rewinding it. I was like, "Brother, why are you looking at this like that? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Stop watching this over and over again. This is crazy." So to all of that, like, Todd Bowles was not wrong. Todd Bowles was doing his job, coaching his team to win the football game. And for them to battle back, because I can't remember how much they were down by, but for them to battle back and to even get within 10 points, that says a lot about the resiliency of his level of coaching and also his team willing to fight to make themselves look respectable in a loss. So many prayers to Chris Godwin for a recovery. I do believe that he will be a free agent after this season is over. And you can see when he was carted out on of the game, you can see him mouthing like back to work. That's difficult to see for a guy, but he has worked hard, and he will continue to work hard because this is the game that he loves. He's going to continue to put his body on the line to get it done. So prayers up for Chris Godwin, man. Right. Next topic. This was pretty interesting. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, had a pretty interesting take about how Colorado feels when they play on the road. When I saw it, I saw the quote and I was like, "There's no way he said this. Maybe they're paraphrasing." And I clicked on it and I listened to it. And I immediately sent this clip to Elijah, and I was like, "There's no way that he thought that this was okay to be able to say this in this moment. There's just no way. There's no way that he thought this was the right thing to say." Like, I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. This is pretty crazy. Of Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, of how he feels about his team when they get a chance to play on the road. Let's listen in.
Coach, how are you? Troy Finnegan, CU Sports Report. That's 3 straight road games now where you guys have played 3 of the most complete games since you've been here. Is there something about this group that likes going and playing in hostile environments?
We like to be booed, and they say that that turns us on. It turns us on. It's kind of sexy, matter of fact. That's how I felt when I played. I mean, I love to be on the road and get booed and they say it and hated on it. I think we like being the underdogs and we like being those type of people. Not that we don't look at the betting line or whatever, underdogs meaning on the road away from home. But we like that. We like that. We really do.
Where do I begin? Where do I start? Coach Prime, what you got going on, brother?
Yeah. What you own?
What is going on in Colorado? Timeout. Timeout. Cause what? You talk about a soundbite, brother. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe that he said that. I was like, then he said, then what got me is after he said it the first time, he chuckled a little bit. He said, it turns us on. He said, what?
Hey, man. Some people that they get them up in the morning, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Hey, dog.
More than just in the morning, apparently. Because you know they play them late games. They play them late games, so they just in the morning. They midday, noon.
I guess you gotta find a way to keep that blood going in the cold. Huh?
Listen, man, that was nuts. That was insane. He got to relax. He got to chill on that one.
When I seen that, I just instantly just thought like, there's not a pregame speech. You go in the locker room and like imagine you go in the locker room and say, "This is sexy, huh? If this don't turn you on, then take your helmet off." Excuse me, coach.
Pause, coach.
What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean this is sexy? And if this don't turn me on, take my helmet off. But we're about to play against other grown men.
Like, coach, what are you doing?
Yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with this, man. You talking about the wrong type of party, man. I don't like what you're talking about right now. I don't like I'm not picking up what you're putting down, Deon. It ain't working. But I understand his logic, but it's just the way that he said it is just.
I totally agree with the logic. I'm fully behind feeding into being the underdog. I don't know that I would have said it that way. That was insane. That was crazy. And he need to leave that alone. That was
leave.
he needed to figure out another way to say that.
Bro,
yeah, that was insane.
That's wild. And the crazy thing is, I mean, I don't agree with him, but I could hear what he's saying. That it got him back in the day. That's how he felt, and I know what he means, though. Like, you know, I hear it all the time. Some people like to play. I mean, nothing against the home crowd fans, but some people like to play on the road because they like to shut them up. They want to hear the pin drop, you know, because you do hear a lot of stuff, you know. As a away team, they're gonna tell you, "Oh, you suck. 12, you can't do this. 11, you suck." So you know that kind of get you going. That's what you need to use, Dion. Get you going. But to say that it gets you got you feeling some type of way that you shouldn't feel.
Like, brother, this is football.
Yeah.
This is football.
I think you at the wrong meeting here, man.
That was crazy. And what's even crazier is Colorado not even on the road this week. They at home against Cincinnati. They went to Arizona last week. I don't know what brought up that question. I think they said it was like 3 of their last. Let's see. They were on the road at Arizona. They were on the road at UCF. They were on the road at Colorado State. They were on the road at Nebraska. So I guess they were asking about how many games they had previously been in. And as they close out the season, they have 1, 2, 3 road games of the final 5. They'll be on they have 3 home games: Cincinnati, Utah, and Oklahoma State. They'll be on the road at Kansas and Texas Tech. That's crazy. That was crazy, Dion. You gotta relax. You gotta chill out with that.
Hey, I don't know if I would have said, "Hey, man, pause, man." But my eyes would have got big when he said, "I'd have been like."
I probably would look, and then especially after everybody started laughing, I might have told him pause. Like,
I don't know if our relationship is tight enough to but If not, because he probably gonna be like, I don't want him back in here. I'm like, all right, man, my bad, bro. You know what, man?
My fault, coach.
My bad, Prime. I ain't mean it like that, bro. You know.
Oh man.
You know
Well,
how he did. He don't like media members too much.
the turned on Colorado Buffaloes will be at home in a late night game, 9:15 on ESPN against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Colorado is a 5.5 point favorite. Both teams come in at 5-2 on the season. Colorado obviously having one victory better than what they were a year ago. Staying in college football, the LSU Tigers pack their bags and head over to Aggieland, College Station, Texas, to take on the number 14 Texas A&M Aggies. Both LSU and Texas A&M are both undefeated in SEC play. They're the only two teams remaining in SEC play that are undefeated after Texas suffered a loss, Alabama suffered a loss, Georgia has their loss, so on and so forth. So essentially, this game is for first place. Elijah, how pivotal is this game for LSU? And if they win this game, what will it be able to do for them going forward to the rest of the season?
Every game is pivotal from here on out for the Tigers. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care if it's Texas A&M and if they turn around to play Florida, Florida's not a bad team, but they're not ranked. But at the end of the day, this game right here can put them in first place in the SEC because they'll be the only team undefeated. Yeah. But hey, man, like we talked about, these games mean a lot to LSU because after the loss that they took to USC to open the year, they needed another. They needed to redeem themselves, and the only way they can do that and to make a playoff push is win out. Because honestly, if they could go to the SEC championship game, and I'm not knock on wood, I don't want them to lose. I want them to be able to hoist it. But if they lose, then I think they can get a chance to be in the tournament. But they have to win all the way up to there, only because they already got one loss on the year already. And I'm not saying that Alabama could replace them because they can't. But if they don't pull out this victory and then they lose to Alabama the week after, knock on wood, because I don't want that to happen, then your season is actually done. But this game right here on Saturday means a lot as well because Texas A&M has been playing really, really great after that opening week. I think they lost in the opening week. After that loss, Texas A&M been playing lights out football. It's like offensively and defensively things started clicking. And then, LSU walking into the 12th man, that's not an easy place to win. That's actually, I know Death Valley is a tough place to win, but the 12th man is a tough place to win as well. I mean, there's a reason why it's called 12th man for a reason. The crowd's going to be rocking. This is, somewhat of a rivalry. This is for both of their seasons because if Texas A&M lose, then they're out of it essentially as well. So, again, LSU, this is playoff football now. Like, from here on out, it's playoff football from after the USC game. So, again, man, this is pivotal for the Tigers, man. And they're capable of doing it. They're capable of winning. They're capable of pulling together an ugly win or a beautiful win, whether if it's a blowout or if it's by 1 point. They are capable of doing it. But the fact is you have to do it. And it's going to take 4 quarters of tough football. And Brian Kelly got to come with his best game because, honestly, the Aggies, I know they say ranked number 14th, but the Aggies are playing like a way better team than the 14th ranked in the country.
You got that right, brother. I did not realize as I was looking back in the standings, the USC is 3-4. So that loss for LSU at the beginning of the season was really, really bad. And kind of like what we talked about earlier in the day off camera, like that is what kind of is holding LSU outside of that top 5 because they have such a bad loss there at the beginning of the season. I think if they can win this ball game, if they can handle and take care of business back at home when they face Alabama, then they will at highest finish at number 5 in the country and play for an SEC championship. Now, of course, you still got Vanderbilt in the mix. They're at number 25. They're hungry. Oklahoma, is not just going to be a looked over game, even though they are 4-3 on the season. That final week of the season is going to be, one that you just can't graze over either. But with all of that, this is for all the marbles right here. Like Elijah said, the leader of the SEC, of course, the top two teams will play in the SEC championship game because there's no longer an East and Western division. But this sets the tone, saying that the SEC runs through Baton Rouge. You win this game and you solidify yourself because, like we said, Alabama has 2 losses on the year with their loss last week to Tennessee and, a near loss to Georgia, like we had said previously before, puts Alabama in a lot of trouble. It put them in a lot of trouble at the time. And so with those 2 losses in SEC play, they are all but out of the championship picture. And so they need a lot of help to be able to try to, get themselves back into contention for the college football playoffs. Because right now they're number 15 in the country, So LSU can't overlook the Aggies. Like you said, they're playing really good football right now. Everything is coming all together for them. Obviously, the Aggies beating the snot out of Missouri a few weeks ago to be in this position that they are. 2 teams coming in at 6-1 on the year in a big game at 6:30 this Saturday that will air on KATC. Shameless plug. LSU has to get it done, especially after you already are coming off of a road victory against Arkansas where you won handedly. Now you go into the road once again, needing to get it done. It's super important for them to be able to get this done. The Aggies are a 2.5-point favorite according to the spread on ESPN Bet. LSU will try to get it done as they head to College Station, Texas, for a big matchup, a battle for first place between LSU and Texas A&M. Like we said, that game will be at 6:30, airing on KATC. So now, ladies and gentlemen, as we round out our show, we were supposed to talk about the Pelicans, but I could not find any feasible way to watch that basketball game.
They won, though. They won.
They won. We do know that. I guess we can check about the box score and see before we get into this last topic of what we got on tap. Let's see.
They definitely won. I couldn't find. Hold on, this score backwards. Who is running these stats for ESPN? I don't know. Because they confused me too. I thought the Bulls won.
80 to 81? No, it's okay. Brandon Ingram scores 23 as the Pelicans beat the Bulls 123 to 111. That's much better. That's a whole lot better. So Brandon Ingram, he scored. Dang, they got all the okay. He scored 33 points. Brandon Ingram scores 33 points. DeJounte Murray had 14 and 10. Of course, Zion Williamson did not play, marking his 207th missed regular season game. What? And that's with 82 games. He's been in the league since 2019. My God. That's a lot of basketball to miss, bro. That's a lot of basketball. Pels started the season 1-0. So congratulations to them. But as you see in our lower third, the topic of discussion that was sweeping across all of the NBA on opening night was the historic moment in LA as LeBron James and his son, Bronny James, became the first ever father-son duo to play in an NBA basketball game. I don't think Bronny scored at all, but just to see that on the floor was a pretty cool moment. I knew LeBron was going to be mic'd up, so we had things of him talking to him right before he went in, telling them, do you see the speed of the game, and all those things like that. Just go out and play free. That was a pretty cool moment. Elijah, for us to be able to witness something as historic as this, the only other father-son duo that I know of that's happened in any other sport was Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. playing on the same team. But to see it at this magnitude, at this time period, just how cool was that?
Man, I think it was really cool. I mean, I know Bronny didn't score, but to share the basketball court, not a pickup game, not a family reunion basketball tournament, like to share an actual NBA game on the court, as a professional with your son, with your seed. I think that's pretty cool, man, because he was at one point attending your games as a child when you first came into the league, and now that you're on your way out the door, it's like a revolving door moment, revolving door, or a moment for you to talk about, hey, I got to share the court with my son. I mean, I know we talk about the accomplishments of him chasing Jordan, of not getting 6 rings, and the amount of MVPs that Jordan has, the Defensive Player of the Year that Jordan has, but the impact that LeBron left on this game would never be forgotten. No, I mean, if he finished his career with 4 rings, you still got to talk about his impact with him playing with his son, with being having the most points in NBA history, the way how he won his championships. LeBron did a lot for the game, and for this to be a moment of watching this with his son and them sharing a court was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't believe in some stories bigger than the game, but that was bigger than the game a little bit to me. I know because it's just opening night, but to see that, I think it was pretty cool, man. Savannah was there, Bryce was there, their daughter. I'm not sure what their daughter name is, but she was there. Zori, she was there. It was awesome just seeing all that come together, man. And I don't know if Bronny's gonna, be in a rotation regularly, but at the end of the day, man, it happened. And I saw a funny stat that the father-son duo points, and LeBron and Bronny got the most father-son duo points in NBA history, even though Bronny didn't score a bucket yesterday. He didn't even score nothing. But I thought that was funny, but at the same time, I thought that was pretty cool, man. So all I got to say is with LeBron, the legacy that he left on the court and off the court will forever sit with the NBA very well. And whoever tries to follow in that same footsteps, man, those are some big shoes to follow, man. And again, hats off to the LeBron James family, man, because they've been awesome as awesome family to watch and see grow up in our very own eyes.
Yeah, man, it was super cool. Just to even talk about or to hear about like a father-son, LeBron was lucky enough because, he's in year 22 of his career. So he had Bronny, I think, when he was like 19 or 20 or something like that. So just to be even in this position, to still, first of all, be able to play in the NBA is one. And then also to be playing at as high of a level as he is at the age that he is speaks volumes too. I don't know if we will ever see anything else like this in our lifetime. Guys are still playing, and we'll continue to be able to play for very long periods of time as, technology continues to advance and people continue to take care of their bodies as well as they do. But right now, like this moment overall was just great to see a father and son getting a chance to get it done out on the court and hoop a little bit in a professional basketball game, man. Something that, like I said, we had never seen in the NBA. The last time that we saw it in any other professional sport, Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey, which they were at the game the other night or last night. So that was super cool. So shout outs to LeBron James, shout outs to Bronny James, shout outs to that entire family. But before we go, Elijah, we were talking about it early on in the show. Kennesaw State upsets Liberty 27-24. We ain't watched this game at all, but we was just talking about it. History being made as winless Kennesaw State defeats undefeated Liberty. KSU gets their first win ever as an FBS team. Liberty's nation-leading 17-game win streak, which I didn't even realize that, ends in the regular season. This is the first time since 2001 that an 0-5 or worse team beats a 5-0 or better team. Liberty was a 27-point road favorite. There are now 9 undefeated FBS teams remaining and 1 winless team remaining. That is Kent State. Wow. Wow. That's a lot.
That's nasty. We was talking as Liberty was going to be one of these teams that make the college football playoff, and you lose to Kennesaw State, a team that didn't win a game. I don't even know if they had a competitive game. This is horrible.
Hey, man. That's why you put the football, like we've said before. That's why you put the football down, because it's not about the name that's on the front or the patch that's on the front. It's about who you're playing for. Kennesaw State, them players in college football, bro. You have a day off. You practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have a walkthrough Friday. You play that game Saturday. Obviously, with this being a Wednesday, their schedule was definitely flipped around. Where their walkthrough was yesterday, they still practice. They still game plan. These coaches still coach. All of those things like that. Guys still are competing every single day. So kudos to them, man. Getting it done. Kudos for them.
That is nasty.
Picking up that upset. It might be nasty, bro, but it's the real deal. It's the real deal. So congratulations to the Kennesaw State Owls getting an upset victory over the Liberty Flame, 27-24 here on Wednesday night in college football. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have been on stream here for close to an hour, me and Elijah Nixon. We appreciate y'all that have checked in, hopped in and out. We appreciate y'all that checked in with us on Facebook as well. If you're on Facebook and you're not a subscriber of the Fitz Take Podcast, go ahead and go down in the comments in the chat and hit the bell down there and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast, as we will continue to drop episodes on a weekly basis. I know we've been a little bit sporadic, but we've been living our best life. Right? Elijah was out of town. I was out of town. And man, we gonna put this content out there, but we gonna live it up just as much. Feel me? So we appreciate y'all. Like we said earlier, we are now on Spotify. If you're a listener of podcasts, go there if you have Spotify and follow us there on the Fitz Take Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow me and Elijah on all our social media platforms, and also follow my production company on our social media platforms as well. In the coming live streams, we're going to work to set up callers on our live streams. I figured out how to get it done. So we could be doing that pretty soon. So y'all stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's Elijah has been talking about that, and I think we could be able to get it done. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all so much for hopping here on the live edition of the Fitz Take Podcast. For Elijah Nixon, I'm Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We will see you guys next time for our episode that will drop on Monday.